Hey, on today's episode of Two Guys, One Coup, we're going to talk a little bit about Biden's student loan forgiveness and what that means to all of us. Woo, can't wait. New Jersey's teachers union, what they had to do. We'll explain it. We're going to talk a little bit about, I'm going to put it this way, a trans model. We'll get into all the details of that. Jim will review that. We're gonna also show you, and you get to listen to some videos of some Boston Children's Hospital doctors and what they're up against. That a whole bunch more to talk about on today's episode of Two Guys, One Coup.
Welcome to the Two Guys, One Coup podcast with Dale and Jim, where the truth matters and progressives' feelings don't. We bring you the facts from the perspective of two average, everyday guys who will never apologize for being America first, for adhering to our great Constitution, and for saluting the flag that our brothers and sisters have fought and died for. And now, here's Dale and Jim.
Jim, I kind of fumbled that whole beginning, didn't I? Kind of seemed like I was
going to say anything.
I know. I was very unprofessional, wasn't it?
Yeah. You know what, though? I think the pressure, I think maybe we should, switch on and off, because
like
all the pressure's on you. So every other time maybe I should do it, and then you do it.
That's true. Let's do a test run for the audience. Okay, say it was you. Go ahead and do it.
We have stories today that will knock your socks off.
Okay, we're just going to stick with what I did, although it was lacking the excitement and or any information because I was looking around at multiple sheets of crap and I'm like, I'm confused. Anyways, Jim, we are here. Another episode and horribly sad news for our listeners today. It's just you and me. No interviews. First time in a very, very,
Isn't that a song by Chicago?
What?
It's just you and me.
Nobody knows, Jim. Nobody.
I think it's a verse within their song, but anyway. I think it's you are the love, you are the inspiration. Anyway. I'm sorry.
That's Jim, you always everything I got to admit, everything equates back to some sort of song or song title for you. Yeah. You're like a what's the word I'm thinking? A chick. I mean,
this is a great way to start off the show.
We'll often reminisce about
reminisce
the song.
Hurry, don't be late.
Anyways, Dr. Fauci's retiring. On to the show. Yeah, Dr. Death is leaving after saying he was going to leave after Biden.
Did you see what Rand Paul said?
First term. I would love to see it. I didn't see it, but
Rand Paul goes, if he thinks his retiring is going to get him out of trouble, he's got another thing coming. So
I did see that. See that. He is.
See, he's worried because he gets death threats because of all of this stuff. Fauci does. So he's all worried because he's getting all these death threats from people. And it's like,
really?
How many death threats does Rand Paul get?
He was attacked. Rand Paul was physically attacked by a neighbor. Yeah, that's crazy. So goodbye, Dr. Death. Yeah, I hope you eventually end up in prison. This guy's got no remorse or anything. I don't know if you saw his interview on Neil Cavuto yesterday.
Yes, I did. And he
he regrets nothing.
Yep.
Did nothing. And Neil gave him an out. He says, listen, I understand initially that it was, and I'm not a Neil Cavuto fan by any means or any stretch of the imagination, but he said, we understand initially that really people didn't know what to do, but do you have any regrets now looking back on none whatsoever? I made absolutely the right decisions.
Neil Cavuto.
This guy, huh?
No, Neil Cavuto, when it comes to financials, okay.
But yeah. I don't mind listening to him financial, but he's just, I don't even know why he's even got a show on there. It's just filling a time slot. I think that could be filled by you and I.
And you know what's really, actually, Fox News, there's a,
Did you just turn your camera, Jim?
I had to. Yeah, sorry. Sorry.
Why? What happened?
I'm just not liking where I'm lined up. But anyway, this is really unprofessional so far. But Dr. Fauci, the funny thing about this is the CDC has already come back, all talked about all the mistakes they made, all of this, all of that.
That's what I'm saying.
And most of what they did was based on what Fauci told them. And Fauci has no regrets. And my biggest thing is I went back and looked at some stories where 72,000 deaths were removed from the COVID-19 deaths because they were my favorite part is they were incorrectly segmented into COVID-19, which, and we all know there's more than that, actually.
Of course.
We'll never know the true number. I mean, we will never know that. And, and I'm not trying to make light of people who did die of COVID. I am not trying to make light of it. I'm just saying that we all know what happened.
Yep.
Okay. We all know what happened with our nation when COVID hit. We all know it. So we won't even bring it up again. But goodbye, Dr. Fauci, and I will not miss you.
Yeah, good riddance. I mean, I think the only thing worse could happen now is that they replace him with Dr. Jill Biden. I mean, why not?
Same qualifications.
Same qualifications.
They're both owned by China.
They're good one, Jim.
Thank you,
Jim. This is you got some new energy today. I like it. I like it. I'm still in a funk. I've been in a funk all week. Why, you ask? You didn't, so I'm not going to tell you. I've just been in a funk all week.
You had a busy weekend, dude. So
I had a busy weekend. I've had a busy week. My brain is like scrambled eggs up there.
Which you couldn't afford much in there anyway. But that's. I'm sorry, I wasn't.
We're gonna edit that part out. Start this show over again. You know, do this right, Jim. I'm trying to be professional. Oh, what else?
You are not,
Jim. Good news. Good news for our Moms for Liberty folks. Congratulations on the ass whooping they did in the state of Florida in other areas, but all over the state of Florida. I don't know if anybody's heard, and we've talked, if you've been listening to interviews, we've had folks from Clay County. We haven't had like Miami-Dade or any of that, which, you know, that one shocked me the most, but they talked about school board members and getting school board members that align with child protection and parental rights on. Bridget Ziegler was a big one. She was, you know, technically also one of the co-founders of Moms for Liberty. She won her seat by over 13,000 votes. I mean, it was an ass kicking. So congratulations to her. But Clay County did it. We talked to Tanya from Clay County. They did it there. I kind of go over some of the things here briefly. Bridget Ziegler, Robin Marinella, and Timothy Enos were all endorsed by Ron DeSantis. All of Ron DeSantis' endorsements for school board won, by the way. So
no problem. Yep.
I'm trying to look at seeing here. Sarasota School Board, they had a 3-2 liberal majority. It is now, due to those wins by Bridget, Robin, and Timothy, they are now 4-1 conservative school board, which is massively huge. They also, with the 1776 Project PAC, were also very influential in making all of this happen.
We'll have more on that. The 1776.
We will.
We're familiar with it, but we don't know. You know, we want to make sure we
correct,
because in case of listeners out there, 1776. We'll get to it.
Correct. But there was a series of counties, which unfortunately, Jim, I don't have here, and I don't know why. I don't have that
some of the counties, and I'm not familiar with counties in Florida, right? I don't live there, but from the 2020, from the 2000 election, we learned a lot about counties, during that time, and it just what I liked about it. Okay, now I'm not saying this is it's showing what's going to happen in the presidential elections. Okay, I'm not saying that, but predominantly, maybe not predominantly, but in more than 50% liberal leaning or Democrat leaning, these candidates won. And I just think that's fantastic. I think it sends a message that there are some parents that are standing up, taking a look at this thing and saying, all right, this group is not what people say they are. They are not they're not another latest one. I didn't know if you saw it. A mom spoke out for a book, and she was referred to as Hitler.
Oh yeah. Yep. Oh, yeah, I did see.
She
that.
doesn't want to ban it or burn it. She just doesn't think children should read it.
And the book was gender queer.
Yeah,
if I'm not.
And it had dildos in it. Step-by-step masturbation. Yep.
Yep. It had the whole thing, and we and Moms for Liberty and groups like that, we're Hitlers because we want that removed.
Just from the library. Not from. If you want to go buy the book on Amazon, go for it. Do whatever.
Go for it. You want to spend your money on gender queer book? Go ahead. I don't care.
Kids shouldn't be seeing what a dildo is. I'm sorry. They should.
And so then this lady coming up there saying that I don't even know who the lady was.
She's a doctor. Yeah.
Doctor. I mean, what does it take to be a doctor these days? I guess nothing. We'll hear from some doctors here.
I don't know, Dr. Dale. What do you think?
Well, I think
I just gave you your PhD.
Thank you. Might as well. I mean,
PhD in awesomeness.
Oh man,
you're my hero, dude.
Of course. I'm trying to be humble, but it's hard to.
Let me tell you about my best friend.
Again, Jim, you're gonna make me take an early fresh air break if you can.
Sorry.
Another the one that, like I said earlier, that really surprised me was Miami-Dade, that switch from liberal to now.
That's the county I was talking about.
School board. Yep, that one there was, and Ron DeSantis, he did it, and there was like 5 other Duval County. There's other counties, and but they I think they 43 seats in total or something like that. Yeah, and that's crazy. That is incredible what they did, and that's all because of their hard efforts and their push, and other groups. But they were very influential.
Their percentage is higher than others. Mom for Liberty.
Oh yeah,
but Moms for Liberty's success rate is,
oh my God,
is incredible. I mean, it's awesome.
I think it's just a matter of time now. Yeah,
love to see it. You saw these popping up on Facebook and everything else because we are. We're on a lot of Facebook pages and for Moms for Liberty, and it's like, oh my God, it's like all celebrate. Let's go.
Everyone's
let's
like,
go.
Yep.
Let's go.
It's like we won, and that's where it starts. We talked about this. Local level government can make the change a lot quicker than state or federal. So
let's concentrate on getting the grades up, the test scores up.
Well, I think
great, education. Let's worry about that. Okay.
Obviously, but they still got a massive battle. I mean, you're talking about 6-7 counties that changed, and not all of them. Then the rest of them in Florida, of course, and across the country are liberal necessarily. I'm just saying, but it's getting the test grades up. But you got to get these people in there in order to stop this grooming that's going on within the school system, and that's the only way to do it. And congratulations to all of them.
To remind everybody, Moms for Liberty is now in 40 states.
I was just going to say that
220 counties. So
220 counties.
It's growing.
States. It is growing. I mean, just a couple months ago, it was. They've added 2 more states. They've
20 more counties.
20 more counties.
Mm-hmm.
They're well over 100,000 members, and that's going to grow. I'm sure that'll.
Well, and a lot of our listeners,
soon.
A lot of our listeners have heard from the leaders of this group, whether it's the national leaders, the main 2, Tiffany and Tina, or the chairs, Paige, Paula,
Joy, all of them.
They're just
Tanya,
all, they're all fantastic. I mean, Joy, again, if you haven't heard any of these, you got to go back and every single one of these ladies are just fantastic individuals. They're fantastic individuals who it's not just their children they care about, it's all children. And that's what Moms for Liberty is about. It's not about their children. It's about all children.
Because a lot of them don't have children in school systems still. A lot of them do, but a lot of them don't still.
Yeah.
A lot of them are ex-teachers. Man. Yeah, congratulations. Big one. We don't need to go on further with it because a lot more is going to happen. We're talking about this is just going to continue and continue.
But Florida keeps... Make me want to move to Florida, man.
Free state of Florida, buddy. Come on down.
But see, as soon as I move there, he becomes president, and then the next governor may not be as good. So,
Oh my gosh, it'd be hard to replace DeSantis. That's for sure. I'm going to guess now that Charlie Crist won the Democrat nomination over Nikki Fried. And Charlie Crist used to be a Republican. He switched,
right,
because he was no Republican.
Right.
Like Charlie Crist is like Romney.
Liz
Cheney, basically Florida's Romney, Liz Cheney. You're right. He's got a popular name. A lot of people like him. They do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think DeSantis wins Miami-Dade County in the election, but DeSantis, I think, by far wins probably a good 7 to 8 points above Charlie Crist when it's all
polling higher, right? I mean, he's polling.
Who is DeSantis?
DeSantis. I thought I saw some polls. He's up around the 8 to 10%. Even if Crist was his,
Yeah, so they just did one that where if it was Nikki Fried, it would have been a little closer than if it's Crist.
Mm-hmm.
That means nothing at this point.
Right.
Obviously, we still got a couple months to go, but I went out and voted in the primaries. My man Matt Gaetz in my district won yesterday as well, even though there's a lot of mud being slung at him and false accusations. I mean, this guy's taking,
he is taking a hit.
He's taking a hit. Yeah. Matt Gaetz is taking hits. I'm telling you, he don't care. He doesn't care. Something going on, Jim, down there at your feet?
Just making sure when I move my chair, I don't have a puppy underneath me. So,
oh my gosh. Anyways, don't do that. So, so that happened. Fauci, he's out. That was just all good news yesterday.
Yeah, well,
goodbye, Fauci. Moms for Liberty dominates in the school boards across the state of Florida and other states. I don't want to leave everybody else out because a lot was happening.
And Jesse Bates has returned to the Bengals. He signed the franchise tag. So we're going to move on to. This isn't a sports show. This isn't a sports show, Jim. This isn't a sports show. I am always going to slip in a Bengal story if I can. Oh my God. You know that, right?
I know. So for those of you that just tuned out of the show, I'm sorry you're going to miss the rest of it. I really am. It's been a resounding start to the show.
So, I think it's been fun.
We don't know what to do. We don't have an interview today, right? So This is our it's our first show in quite a long time. Where we're not hearing from one of the groups or somebody in there. Rest assured, folks, we have more next week.
Yeah.
So,
we've got a couple more coming up, and then some.
We do.
Couple pretty big name people that we're trying to nab.
Yeah, we do.
So
I think we're going to nab them too. I think it's getting close. So, anyways, Jim, I guess we can move on. You wanted me to go first today, didn't you?
I think you should go first because you're number one, man.
I am number one in your hearts and in your minds.
Yeah. But what you have to talk about, I think, needs to be the lead. So.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a little interactive and all that. And so we'll get on to that. Jim, we'll be right back. Well, folks, what we're gonna do, this segment is I'm going to play a few videos, and I need to thank January Littlejohn for providing these to me. And she keeps sharing and sharing and sharing, and it's exactly what I want her to do. And I have, Jim, we have probably 30 videos that she has shared so far. Yeah. I'm going to play you 3 today, and I'll keep doing them throughout episodes as they come in and as we, kind of talk more about this stuff. But it all has to do with gender dysphoria or gender identity and how it involves minors. And so what I'm going to do is I got 3 videos. One of them, and I'll just go right into it. The first one is from a local pediatrician, local to the Florida area, based out of Tallahassee. He's also a faculty member for the Florida State University College of Medicine. I want you to hear his thoughts, not a long video, maybe a minute or 2, his thoughts on transgenderism and transitioning minors. You take a listen to that. We'll be back here in a second to talk about it.
Hi everyone, I am back with another video, and today I wanted to talk about a very important topic, which is trans youth. There's been a lot of legislation that's been going around in multiple states, including our own in Florida, that specifically targets that population. And I wanted to discuss what we're dealing with and hope to raise awareness and perhaps if you're not an ally, this information would help you become one. So when we're talking about hormone blockers, what is the intent? What are we trying to do? I'm going to try to explain it in very simple terms. The human body, up until puberty, is a blank canvas. The hormones kick in when puberty kicks in, and when that happens, that's when you get what we call the secondary characteristics. So for boys, the deepening of the voice, the increased stature, the muscle build, and then for girls, then it would be the breast development, so on and so forth. So when you prescribe hormone blockers, and let's say we're specifically talking about trans girls because they have been targeted the most in legislation. So let's specifically talk about the example of trans girls. If they're placed on hormone blockers, then in consultation with their physician, they're ready to start estrogen therapy. The body will never have developed into the quote-unquote boy physique because you halted that with the hormone blockers, and then by giving the estrogen, you kind of told the body to develop into the gender that trans girl identify with. So when you understand that, you understand why it is so frustrating for physicians, the bills that are being passed around that penalize giving hormone blockers and hormone therapy for trans youth, because you are kind of creating an obstacle in that child developing in the gender identity that they identify with.
Okay, that's video number one, Jim. Basically, this gentleman is really, we could call him an idiot. And first of all, before I go any further, the reason I'm doing this is because this is what Moms for Liberty is up against now within the school system. Mm-hmm. So they've gone through, as we've talked about, the CRT. They've gone through the SEL. They've gone through kind of the whole reviewing of books. They're still doing it. That's all still going on. That hasn't gone away. But the big fight is transgender boys and girls within the school system. Basically, this pediatrician, who is also, like I said, a faculty member at the Florida State University College of Medicine, basically thinks the human body is a blank slate, and children are they're there to do with what they feel. It's all about feelings for these people, and it's all about how they portray the necessary steps to take if a child is confused for any reason whatsoever. This guy's allowed to teach. This guy's allowed to practice. This guy's allowed to influence children and influence parents who don't know any better.
And it's a blank slate, folks. And it's not for, let's say, a blank slate for the parents to mold or to develop. No. That's not what he's saying. This is a blank slate for woke liberal people to come in and mold your children the way they think they should be.
Correct.
And it's
crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And so I just wanted you to hear that video just so you kind of got an idea of what a professional in the field of medicine and in gender, a pediatrician that deals with gender dysphoria had to say. I'm going to throw you another video here. This is Elizabeth Bosky. She is a PhD. And this one in the next video that you're going to hear, these are physicians at the Boston Children's Hospital. Boston Children's Hospital. Yeah, you're not going to this hospital. I'm not going to this hospital. Anybody over 18 is not going to this hospital. It's a children's hospital. Take a listen to what PhD Elizabeth Bosky has to say, and we'll review that after we're done.
The eligibility for getting gender-affirming surgeries at Boston Children's Hospital is basically the same as it would be for most other hospitals or surgeons in the United States. And that's the case because we all follow the World Professional Association for Transgender Health, or WPATH, standards of care. For top surgery, you are requested, but not required, to have been on gender-affirming hormones for at least a year. If you're a trans woman, it's really encouraged that you be on estrogen for at least a year because you want to maximize your natural breast growth. Many surgical centers require you to be 18. At Boston Children's Hospital, for top surgeries, we'll see people as young as age 15 if they've been affirmed in their gender for a long period of time and don't really have any other life complications that make surgery inappropriate. You also have to come in with what we refer to as the letters. One of those letters is from the primary care provider or the hormone prescriber, basically saying that you've been diagnosed with gender dysphoria, that this surgery is appropriate for you, that you understand the surgery, that there's no medical reasons why you can't have the surgery. The second letter is from a behavioral health provider, diagnoses you with gender dysphoria. A really good letter shares your gender history, and they tell us if there's anything we need to know about your mental health that could affect your eligibility for surgery. Looking forward to genital surgeries, and these we really start at age 18, age 17 for very few transgender women where it's really appropriate. You actually need a second letter from another behavioral health professional, and the purpose of that letter is to make certain that you understand the fertility implications about the surgery and you're really making an informed decision to eliminate your future fertility potential if you haven't already banked gametes or done other fertility preservation.
So right away, I want to start with one thing she said. She said that they follow the WPATH standards. Now, Jim, we reviewed that a couple episodes ago. And WPATH, again, for those who don't know, because that's how they referred to it, is the World Professional Association for Transgender Health. A couple things really stood out with this whack job for me. First of all, please remove her license immediately from practicing medicine anywhere in the country. And two, she talks about how they follow those WPATH standards. Let me give you a review real quick, Jim. Again, the WPATH. For cross-sex hormones, the recommended minimum age has been lowered to 14. This is what they follow at Boston Children's Hospital. The recommended age limit for double mastectomies of healthy breasts has been lowered to 15. And for male minors seeking breast augmentation, their recommendation is 16 years old at the lower age limit. This is also the age limit per WPATH and, of course, what Boston Children's Hospital follows. Draft guidelines for facial surgeries and tracheal shaves, which we have talked about. The age for genital surgeries, such as hysterectomy and vaginoplasty, has been lowered to 17. That's what they follow at the Boston Children's Hospital.
And we know when it's lowered, we know it's going to continually be lowered.
Correct.
Unless somebody does something.
Here's the thing. And also, some things that maybe stood out from our good Dr. Elizabeth Bosky is that they said that top surgeries, they're requested to be on hormone therapy, but not required. They request that you're on it for a year, but it's not required. So that tells me it's never required. They don't care.
No.
They don't care at all. To be on gender-affirming hormones for at least a year is requested, not required. Top surgeries, we know, as young as 15. And then you need in order to get through that process, you need a letter from your primary care physician, just a letter, stating that you have gender dysphoria. Well, you know how many whack jobs they'll probably send you to a primary care physician at Boston Children's Hospital to then tell you how you have gender dysphoria. And therefore, they send you right to Elizabeth Bosky PhD, and she's also a LICSW, which is licensed social worker, an MPH. I don't know what that means, and an MSW. Yeah, an MSW, which is, I don't know what that means either. But they'll probably send you right to her after you get to their primary care physician, which is ridiculous. So these people, this is what we're up against, folks, is these people exist. These are just a few of many, 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 many across the country. And you heard when we interviewed January and Bernadette that 4 countries themselves have stopped this shit.
France, Germany, Britain, they've decided that this is dangerous. They show results. They show the studies, results that it's dangerous. And that is dangerous.
Here we are. Yeah. Here we are in our country doing this. I want to get on to the third and final video I'm going to play for you. This is Jeremy Carswell. Now, I tell you, Jeremy, it is a woman, okay? To my knowledge, not a trans at all, but an MD, again, at Boston Children's Hospital. She's the director of Gender Multi-Specialty Services for Boston's Children's Hospital. Listen to her. Be right back.
A child will often know that they are transgender from the moment that they have any ability to express themselves, and parents will often tell us this. We have parents who tell us that their kids, they knew from the minute they were born practically, and actions like refusing to get a haircut or standing to urinate, trying to stand to urinate, refusing to stand to urinate, trying on siblings' clothing, playing with the quote opposite gender toys, things like that. There is more and more a group of adolescents that we are seeing that really are coming to the realization that they might be trans or gender diverse a little bit later on in their life. So what we're seeing from them is that they always sort of knew something was maybe off and didn't have the understanding to know that they might be trans or have a different gender identity than the one they had been assigned. So that is a growing population that we are seeing, and that's being recognized as being trans and able to be treated.
So Dr. Carswell feels and classifies that it's okay to go ahead with these surgeries. And the reason you can is because you basically know, and she said this, from the minute they're born. A lot of parents know from the minute they're born that they were not the gender they were assigned. I love that now. I love that whole new term. You're assigned gender.
Well, that's the whole blank canvas thing.
That's right. Parents know from the minute that their child is born. So parents now are making the decision that the child is. Yeah, they are. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen a lot of examples of that. But there's telltale signs that your child might be transgender, according to Dr. Carswell, and I use doctor very loosely.
I know this is
bitches. Your child, if it's a boy, may not want to get a haircut. That's what she said. You heard it. That's a telltale sign that maybe they have some sort of gender dysphoria. They like to stand or they like to sit to pee. I mean, if you're a boy, maybe you like to sit to pee. If you're a girl, maybe you're like, hey, I want to stand to pee. That's a telltale sign that maybe your child has gender dysphoria.
Wow.
I like to sit to pee. I'm just because lazy. But
I went to school with a lot of people that were gender dysphoria.
Yeah, gender dysphoria then, right? And they can start these hormone blockers and puberty blockers. I forgot to mention something about the first guy. I'll go back to him. As early as adolescence. Now, what does adolescence mean? What's the definition of adolescence? Well, adolescence can be as young as 10 years old, depending on whose definition you look at.
And you haven't hit puberty yet.
You haven't hit puberty. Some do, maybe a little earlier. Some don't, but you haven't hit puberty yet. And they're willing to give these children puberty blockers like this. I meant to tell you from our first feller, who was that again? Let me go up. Oh, no name, just local, that Florida State pediatrician. He talked about how puberty blockers will just reverse itself if you have to. Yeah. They'll just, if you start, the body hasn't really had a chance to develop to be a man yet. If you're a girl and you want to be a boy, or a boy be a girl, it hasn't had a chance to develop yet at that point. So you can it's easy to change. And then because it hasn't developed, you can just stop it. And it goes right back to where it is. That's another in a long line of Dr. Frankensteins. These people are.
And that's
what they are.
There's no studies. There's no results that he is.
No.
He is just making a statement, and he is a doctor. I mean, these are doctors that are making these statements, and it's like
doctors who are quite often reimbursed for the medicines they prescribe. It's no different than a vet. Honestly, a vet gets kickbacks. If they're offering you something at Little Bella's vet, like, here, do this food, it's because the science diet, whatever the food is you're giving them, is giving the vet a little piece of that sale. So this is all part of the monetary plan. And I'm not saying that some of these people don't truly in their hearts believe they're helping people. They probably, that's how whacked out they are then. If they're just like, I think we're helping children. This is what we're doing. This is what they want.
18 or
then
21.
They are.
Help them all you want.
If you choose to mutilate your body, you choose to do it no matter what. If you want to put piercings and get tattoos from the head to the toes, I don't care. If you're 18 or above, that's how you want to live your life. It's wacky. It's crazy. I don't get it. But I just wanted to play those, Jim, and I have many, many more. And we will, as they keep coming in, and I already have some, we will throw them on the show just for you to hear. Because that, guys, is what January and Bernadette are fighting for with Title IX. Now, let me go back to Title IX. There may be some confusion on how to fill out that form. It's not super easy, right? First of all, I think the webpage that Bernadette provided was missing a little, like, how to get to it. It's childparent-rights.org/title-IX/. And on there, you just kind of scroll down. You'll see the template. It takes a minute. It's not easy, and that's by design for the government. Let me tell you. But Jim and I both did it. We encourage you to continue to do it, and let everybody to go do it. We only have till September 12th, guys. Again, it's got to be stopped. So,
and the whole point of Title IX was created to protect women's sports, to be as equal as men's sports.
Yeah.
So now they're wanting men to come in and be in their sport.
Yep.
I'm confused. That's all. I'm just confused.
Well, you might be gender confused, Jim. Have you ever thought about that?
According to that doctor, I could be.
Jim, do you like to sit down to pee sometimes? Because I think if you do, then maybe
too much work.
Too much. Me at 3 a.m, or the 17 times I get up at my age now, I sit. Pretty sure I'm not gender confused. Anyways, Jim, I wanted everybody to hear those and kind of review them.
They needed to.
Just as, there's more, and they will all get to hear them here shortly. Jim, you want to go on with another segment?
Sure.
You're up.
Okay. I'm still bothered by this story, but these parents should be parents of the year. World's youngest transgender model, 2 trans parents, a hate crime accusation, and an estranged family. 10-year-old Noella McMahon, who's been hyped in the media as the world's first transgender model, was socially transitioned at the age of 4.
Oh my God!
Noella's biological mother, who now also identifies as a transgender, has a transgender spouse.
It's like the Addams Family.
Dee McMahon, the mother, claims Noella knew her child was really a girl at the age of 2.
probably didn't want a haircut.
This is in here. Okay. So she treated the dress Noella like a girl and apparently has plans for surgery when Noella turns 16. At 2 years old, she started telling us she wasn't a boy.
Come on. By 2 years old, mine was like bald, daddy.
At 4.5, she socially transitioned, and at age 7, she legally transitioned. Now the 10-year-old has a modern career, a social media account with thousands of followers, and a website that solicits donations to support Noella's dreams and potential lawsuits for the parents. Yeah. Dee claims her child, whose birth name is not disclosed by the family, knew he was really a girl at age 2. She started to transition Noella at 4, though she seems to suggest it should have happened even earlier. She would refuse to wear boys' clothes and have tantrums because she was so young. It doesn't stop there. The child might already be on harmful puberty blockers.
Oh my God.
Which critics say is tantamount to chemical castration.
It is. They've already done it.
And the family plans on having the child undergo transgender surgeries at 16.
Well, you're allowed, according to Boston Children's Hospital.
Yeah. Anyway.
These parents, they don't give names to these parents?
Yeah, D. McMahon.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't know if that was it. Is that the
Noella McMahon?
Woman.
D is now, well, she's not, she's socially transitioned. I don't know.
Socially.
I don't know.
That means you identify.
These people
and they're mentally brainwash their child to think.
Oh, absolutely. Because at 2 years old, are you freaking kidding me?
Come on, these parents. Where are they at? Where's this out of? Like who? Where?
It does not say.
Well, that's a shame.
I think it's.
Is it within the country?
United Kingdom. I think it's in the United Kingdom.
Oh, it is. So it's okay.
Along with the legal name change, Noella was thrust onto a runway at 7 for a modeling career, coupled with transgender activism. Noella really doesn't ever get nervous or scared by anything. She's a tiny professional, Dee told Metro UK. She was so excited to go down the catwalk, excited to see the people in the cameras. She knows exactly how to work the crowd. Noella has worked for designer Mel Atkinson and the trans clothing company, according to the LBGTQ Nation. The gender-focused clothing company is notably plugged on Noella's Instagram link tree.
What do you mean, transgender clothing? Isn't it just...
It's clothing.
I mean, what makes...
So if
I can go to the store and I can see, well, there's boys' clothes and there's girls' clothes.
She does have links to make her dreams come true with the transitioning that you can. She has a child's Venmo account.
Unbelievable.
Now,
unbelievable.
Both Noella's parents are now transgender, not the biological dad. I'll get to that in just a minute. Notably, Dee identifies as transgender too, as does her partner. My spouse and I are also transgender, Dee told Forbes in February. Noella transitioned way before we did. She is most self-assured person I know. I tell her all the time, I want to be like you when I grow up. Yeah. So Dee hasn't grown up yet. She's the mom, right? Or the dad, or whatever the hell she calls herself. The it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Forbes also noted Dee's other son, Noella's brother, had to draw a line. My son sat us down and told us he is a boy, and he is staying a boy. And more than likely, Noella would have too.
Yeah.
If you gave him time.
Hadn't you wanted a daughter, but had 2 boys? Yeah.
Now, here's the kicker.
Because that's exactly what it was.
The biological father does not approve.
As he should.
And the child's mother once tried to have him convicted of a hate crime.
Oh, boy. Here we go. This is Title IX crap. Yep. We're going to be over here.
Noella's biological father, an analytical chemist named Timothy McCord, was hesitant of his young child's transitions, according to Dee. I don't know why. In a one-sided story published in People's World Back People's World, and published in People's World back in 2019, McCord was smeared as abusive and transphobic for objecting to the transition of his 4-year-old son.
Yep.
Apparently, fathers don't have rights.
No.
McCord allegedly hurt his son's arm one night while trying to put Noella in boy pajamas. Dee had her ex arrested for alleged child abuse and tried to have him convicted of a hate crime, though she was unsuccessful.
This is ridiculous.
In 2018, the father pleaded to a lesser charge and was given probation, People's World said. At the time, he wasn't allowed to see his child, but there was a possibility he'd be given visitation rights in the future.
Oh, my God.
Dee claims the outcome was a result of McCord's continually being awarded privileges by the courts due to his money and upper-class status.
Oh.
So, folks, what do you think about that? A 2-year-old was able to tell that they wanted to be a girl when they're born a boy.
So says the now transgendered mom, dad, and stepmom, dad.
And I don't even... obviously, the biological mom now considers herself a socially transitioned male. Don't know if the partner is a woman who is a... I can't keep up. It's just...
I can't. It's ridiculous. That is child abuse.
It's
folks.
Oh my God! These parents should be arrested,
pure child
and
abuse.
put in jail. But again, Dale, you're spot on.
Oh boy!
And the Title IX, this is in there, folks.
Yep.
That if you, as a parent, do not or say something that is offensive to your child, and the child says it or says it to a teacher, and the teacher repeats it, you will get Child Protective Services called on you.
That's right.
And so this father, all he was speaking that, because his 4-year-old son thought he wanted to be a girl.
Exactly.
And now they're making, and now, of course, I guarantee you there's this child will have plenty of money for their transition surgery when this child turns 16, which is absolutely, and if they're on puberty blockers right now, oh my God. But this is the world we live in, folks. This is considered okay.
Yeah, this is being inclusive and accepting. This is what we talk about all the time. When do we stop being inclusive and accepting of this bullshit?
We need to get this child away from those two.
It's never too late, but the child screwed up I like to stay in touch with this story and see 10 years from now.
Me too.
What happens? What actually happens to that child, Jim? Wow, that's crazy.
Chloe. So
we did. And there's more and more like that out there.
Gotta look for it though.
Even from adults transitioning, there's many stories out there. So
yeah, the person who was on Sam Walsh.
Sam Walsh. Well, that's really nice.
God, Matt Walsh. I'm sorry. The transgendered male on his show, Matt Walsh was talking to him, and he's now an advocate to children should not, and even adults. I mean, he's really fighting for adults to make sure you know what you are doing, and make sure the person doing the surgery knows what they are doing.
How could you know? How could I don't want to get
guys?
Into the psychological end of it. I don't
serious
get it,
shit. All right.
Yeah,
I mean, this is anyway. Yeah.
We know it's serious stuff, and they're doing it to the children in the schools, and that's why Moms for Liberty is fighting this battle now, and that's why it was so important to get school board members on. It's all you. Hopefully, the audience and the people listening here they're all starting to see why this is all happening and why you and I talk about it so much, and why it's so important that we win this battle. Because it's the future, guys. They're screwing up the children. It's ridiculous. Jim, crazy story, man. I appreciate you telling it to us. I wasn't aware of it, but sad, truly sad, but
horrible.
All right, ready to move on?
Yeah,
let's do it. Well, I mean, let's just stick with all this crap in a way. Kind of all, like I said, comes full circle. New Jersey Teachers Union condemns parents as extremists in new ad. Folks, this just recently happened. A New Jersey teachers union condemned parents who confront school officials at school board meetings as extremists in a new advertisement this week. The New Jersey chapter of the National Education Association. Well, we talk about the National Education Association. Why is that? Oh, the largest teachers union in America. I think we've said that before. Posted the short ad on YouTube. The ad flips back and forth between colorful photos of teachers with students and then black and white photos of parents, arguing that the latter are trying to fuse politics with education. In quote, when extremists start attacking our schools, that's not who we are, the video says. Quote again, people who only want to fight to score political points should take that somewhere else. The ad comes amid a nation.
Wasn't that comment a political point?
Yeah.
Anyway.
The ad comes amid a nationwide movement from conservatives to allow parents to be more directly involved in their children's education.
How dare they?
How dare they? Republican governors in states like Virginia and Florida have signed legislation aimed at empowering parents to prevent the teaching of critical race theory and gender theory, especially for young students. Primarily, I'll change that word for you. Primarily for young students. Right. There, I just corrected your piece, New York Post. It's where this came from. Defaming parents as extremists for standing up for their children is right out of Merrick Garland and Randy Weingarten's playbook. Laura Zork, executive director of Building Education for Students Together, told the Daily Caller. New Jersey parents deserve better than this New Jersey Education Association slander. Standing up for your children is not a political point. It is a parent's responsibility. The NJEA should be ashamed for pretending they care more about children than their parents, she added. That's obviously, that's what's happened all across. They make it seem like they care. They're doing the right thing. They're the ones in control. They're their children. They're not your children. Conservatives have made significant gains across the country by highlighting racialized curriculums, with many progressive school boards getting voted out in local elections. Now, this was written right before the primaries. So the American Federation of Teachers, the second largest teachers union in the country, commissioned a poll on education in July. It found that 43% of Americans believe schools devote too much time to teaching gender identity. Meanwhile, 21% said schools aren't devoting enough time to the topic. So clearly more than a 2-to-1 margin there. Yeah, that's what they're up against, folks. That is the story that they are trying to portray, is that parents of all people, and it's done by the teachers union, and directly comes down from the top, Randy Weingarten, then which comes directly from Merrick Garland, which, folks, comes directly from the big guy, Joe Biden's administration, or himself.
Merrick Garland actually called them domestic terrorists. Parents.
They did. Parents, domestic terrorists.
Oh, I'm sorry. Parents who protest at school board meetings.
Correct. Yeah, and so that's just something I wanted to briefly go over. It didn't take long, I know that, but real quick, I also want to say something else before we go into our final segment with you, Jim. Turns out, it's got nothing to do with any of this, but turns out that I guess Joe Biden did know about the raid at Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, we knew he did. I mean,
of course we knew he did, and we said as much the day it happened.
If he had documents that he shouldn't have had, shame on him. All right, shame on him.
He can have anything.
However,
he can have anything.
However,
yeah.
When you are literally the top of classified information, how can you not have some things? Anyway,
nothing you can't.
This was all political. This raid was political.
Yeah,
even if he had something that they have talked to him about, you need to give this back to us. You need to do this. You need to do that. Could have been handled differently. Not in an FBI raid. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, he already gave crap back in June. I mean, it was like, okay, I mean, yeah, if this is what you guys want, you can have it. Yep. You know, it was so but the fact that, not that we didn't know, and not that, but I love when they're just massively proven wrong. And CNN won't report on this, even though Brian Stelter's gone, and NBC and ABC and CBS won't report on this, and either will MSNBC or you know, whatever other liberal news channel.
Well, see, they still report that it was right to do it.
They do. Yeah. And the fact that they directly asked, you know, the press secretary, you know, did he know about? No, he found out about it like you all did. Like he just saw, like, I mean, we all knew it was bullshit. I mean, we get that. But the fact that they've come out, and how do you deny it now? How's Peter Ducey not going to ask this question today, saying, yeah, we know he knew, and you just said he didn't. So, and then all the other reporters will sit around and go, like, we didn't hear anything. We can't write that. We can't report the truth.
You're talking about the same administration that said anyone making less than $400,000 is not going to get taxed.
Is not going to get taxed.
And
that's right.
What did you report on? That's not true.
The poorest of poor will see a tax increase.
25% of them?
25%, 23%, I think, of 10 people making 10,000 and more. 10,000 and more. You can almost, I mean, to make less than that, you have to try hard to make less than that.
Well,
you know, I mean, I think in life. So,
because I think even welfare, they make more than that, don't they?
That's what I'm saying. Like, you got to really try hard not to make 10,000.
Now, when you hear 23% of people making 10,000, why 23%? We already talked about it. It's these cash apps. Yeah, somebody gifts them $200. That needs to be taxed, or whatever their limit is set. No, I don't think it's going to be a $20 your grandmother gave you, but
in the mail for
they could
birthday or something. But yeah,
they could. And
there's 87,000 new IRS agents for a reason. Yeah. They're either going to be coming after that, or they're going to be also coming after parents, or they're going to be coming after.
Speaking
us,
of, we could have a huge get in the coming weeks about this. And that's all we're going to say.
Yeah, that's all we're going to say. But somebody who knows a lot about it, and somebody who is fighting it. That's what we'll say. And then, but hopefully that happens. Fingers crossed next week. Could be as early as next week. So, anyways, Jim, let's get on to our final segment of the day. What do you think?
And again, this will be a quicker segment than what I previously had before. A couple things I want to talk about one in particular, and it's a song called "The Patriot."
Oh,
and it was a song that was made by Topher and the Marine rapper. Okay, Topher is Christopher Townsend. Sorry, I do not have the name of the Marine rapper.
I've seen the Marine rapper though on TikTok.
Now, both of them have served in the military.
Correct.
Christopher Townsend was naval, and the Marine rapper, of course, was Army. Was Marine, okay?
Oh boy, so, we're gonna get some Marines after your ass now.
It was a joke.
Semper Fi. Semper Fi.
Now, it's a hip hop song, rap song, patriotic.
Yep.
And it kind of disses the left a little bit. So, very disappointed to hear this, but Spotify and other streaming networks took them off.
What?
Yeah. Spotify and other streaming services, and gave no reason. Kind of what we were done by YouTube, right? They don't have to give a reason.
Yeah, don't have to give a reason.
Because you offended somebody, you're off.
Just the reason we got, I almost got booted from TikTok. We did.
Now this
because
song
of community standards
was released on a different platform.
Yeah.
#1 hip hop song in the land.
What?
#1 song in the land. The Patriot.
What was it released
Go
on?
out and listen
Where can you hear it?
Where
can you hear it?
You got to go out and Google it, because as I was watching the show, they never did say. I watched
They
the
never
clip.
said where.
This was a clip.
Yeah.
This was not
okay.
This was not a printed doc. It was I
Yeah,
watched the clip. They were on Newsmax.
Yeah.
But Google it, The Patriot,
Mhm.
and I guarantee you there's a and I can't help but think Spotify will have it back up at some point in time.
They've got to. They've got to. Come
but
on.
again, it's this whole thing about it's when black people speak out against what's going on in their black community. Yeah. Their black community they treat them like they do white people.
Black conservatives are so chastised by the left. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely ridiculous.
Obviously, gays against grooming. You know, Lady MAGA. You know, people that we follow, that we that we do. It gays against grooming.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a protected class.
Yeah,
but you add against grooming, they're not.
And now
they're terrorists.
Now
you can't find them anywhere.
Group.
They're almost taken off every platform they're on, and it's wrong. It's just flat out wrong. And
especially after their appearance on Tucker Carlson.
You and I, we've talked about this since day one. And conservatives, almost every conservative is like this. We don't want anybody censored. But if you're going to have a situation like Disney, you're going to remove Caron, this actress, because she makes a comment. You remove her completely. And then you've got Joey Behar and Whoopi Goldberg making all their comments, and all you do is suspend them.
Correct.
We don't think people need to lose their job over it. But you need to be consistent in your punishment. That's all.
That's right.
You know, if you're going to fire somebody for saying something like that, then you and the fact that what she said was truthful. It just hurts somebody's feelings, whereas Whoopi and Joy make shit up as they go, and nobody gives a shit. So
that's right.
Anyway,
feelings
good news, everyone out there.
Yeah.
If you
wait, I want to add on to your rap story because there's also another rapper out there that is, and I'm not saying people like rap. I mean, I'm not a rap fan at all, right?
I could
be,
though.
But this one, he is a white rapper, but he's very, very sings about very, very patriotic things and about blacks and whites coming together. His name's Tom McDonald. If you've never heard Tom McDonald, his music, it's great. It's good. It's really, really good. So go on.
No.
I just wanted to say that.
And I'm glad you said that because there's artists out there that are very patriotic in what you would consider a non-patriotic genre of music.
Correct.
I mean, country music,
normally.
Outside of the Brad Paisleys of the world and Tim McGraws and Faith Hills, they're mostly conservative. They're very patriotic. They love the USA, right?
Yeah.
You get those occasional ones that are out there, but for the most part. But you're talking about a predominantly left-leaning group, and now you have these individuals coming out. Of course, I want to see people talk bad to these guys, you know, former Marine and a Navy.
Yeah, me too.
Kick their ass.
Exactly.
I'd love to see that fight.
Exactly.
So,
me too.
But good news, folks. If you have paid your student loans in the past, you are going to get a refund. Oh, wait.
What?
That's not true.
Oh, wait. That's not
true.
true.
So if you were responsible and paid for your student loans, you just got screwed. Because now you're going to have to pay for somebody else's loans.
That's right. Now I get
if you haven't already heard.
Liberal
now,
education.
We don't know how much it's going to be yet, but it's going to be about $10,000 forgiveness under those making $125,000 or less. So.
No, wait a second. Let's be honest. $10,000 student loan. I mean, what is that? Like one semester?
For those that have $100,000 in student loans.
Yeah.
Hey, now they only owe $90,000. So anyway, hey,
stupid.
There was a couple politicians that wanted $50,000.
Oh God.
Yeah. So now I'm going to give you some statistics here. Okay. A reported plan from President Joe Biden to cancel thousands of dollars of student loans per borrower would worsen inflationary pressures while largely helping higher income learners. An analysis from the University of Pennsylvania Wharton School reveals. So, this bill that they passed recently, the Green Bill, you know, that bill that they passed, where it was supposed to help with inflation, they just screwed it up. Which we never bought that anyway, but now they just doubled down. White House officials are weighing a move to cancel $10,000 of student debt per borrower earning under $125,000. This is according to a report from CNN.
Wow.
Though some Democrat lawmakers have supported canceling up to $50,000. The final decision, which is slated to be made on Wednesday, occurs as the White House also considers whether to extend the present pause on federal student loan payments, which is currently poised to expire August 31st. Nixing $10,000 student loans per borrower would cost $298 billion in 2022.
$300 billion. Yep.
And a total of $329 billion by 2031, if the policy is renewed each year.
Oh my God.
According to the nonpartisan Wharton analysis, less than 32% of the funding would benefit Americans in the two lowest income quintiles. 32% of the funding would benefit Americans in two low income levels, while 42% would benefit those earning more than $82,400 a year. People in higher income households are more likely to have student loan debt, and they owe more on average. So most cancellation plans would benefit wealthy more than middle or lower income families. Cato Institute educational policy analyst Colleen Honrich told the Daily Wire. Indeed, a report from the Brookings Institution explained that 1/3 of the student debt is owed by the wealthiest 20% of households, while only 8% is owned by the bottom 20, partly because more degrees are often necessary for the highest paying professionals. Post-secondary education typically results in a much higher lifetime earning, $1.2 million for a bachelor's degree and $3.1 million for a professional degree like law or medicine. The Wharton analysis said that a permanent loan cancellation announcement could prompt students to eventually reorganize their financing towards additional borrowing.
Wow.
How is that helping anything?
Come on. Read that again, Jim. Read that again.
The Wharton analysis said that the permanent loan cancellation announcement could prompt students to eventually reorganize their financing towards additional borrowing.
See, it still doesn't make sense.
Nope. Although the policy could also increase access among students who would not otherwise be able to afford higher level degrees. What is $10,000 going to do?
Yeah, what is that going to
Anyway.
Buy votes, buy somebody's vote, maybe.
All federal student aid creates market distortions through tuition and credential inflation. When government gives people money to attend college, there will be more demand for college. And when more workers have college degrees, employers start looking for workers with degrees, even for positions that historically did not require one. Whatever. A new survey, I'm sorry, if you offer free college,
come on,
they're not going to come. If you want to go to college, you're going to go to college. You're going to figure it out.
What doesn't matter?
It's not going to bring people who don't want to go to college to college.
The whole free college thing is like, so we give free college to everybody. Why? What? If you had a choice,
I care if a doctorate is tossing my hamburgers at McDonald's? No, I just know that burger's going to be $40,000.
That's what I know. That's what I know. And if you and I go to college for free, what are you going to be? I don't know. Say you want to be an architect. Okay. Hey, I want to be an architect. Hey, 5 million other people want to be a freaking architect because it's free.
Of course.
Why not just go to architectural school? It's free. Nobody pays for it. But wait, there's only 7 architectural jobs open.
And I'm going to be honest with you. If that happens, the degrees we have, might as well wipe your butt and flush them down the toilet.
They mean nothing.
They mean shit.
They mean absolutely nothing.
A new survey from CNBC shows that 59% of Americans are concerned that student debt cancellation will make inflation worse. This is from CNBC. Nixing student debt is particularly popular among the young, of course, the idiots out there that are
the Bernie Sanders fans.
While 30% of our overall respondents said that no cancellation should occur, only 19% of adults between 18 and 34 maintain such a position. Meanwhile, the most recent edition of the Harvard Youth Poll indicates Biden's approval rating among young voters is a meager 41%, which is higher than any of the other ones he's
It is.
Constituting an 18% decline since the spring of 2021. Likewise, the poll showed that young Republicans are more likely to vote than their Democrat counterparts in the upcoming midterms. So, what I just read to you, Biden's approval rating among young voters is a meager 41%, down 18% from 2021. That's why the student loan is being canceled, because they want your votes.
They want your vote.
Even though the economy is going to take a shit after the midterms, but hey,
total crap after that.
You're going to have 10,000 less in student loans.
Which is going to mean nothing when they have 200,000 in student loan debt. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Pay back your debts. Because what's next?
Yeah.
Car loans?
Yeah.
Mortgages?
House, your mortgage?
I mean, well, okay.
Pretty soon they're going to offer you to pay all that back, Jim, and then they're going to own it all.
Okay, so what are we hearing about now? All these kids are paying this. They're paying all this money for college. And they're getting jobs that aren't able to make this. Okay, how many times do we have to hear that? You know, this and that, this and that. What did we find out in the last few years with housing market?
Yeah.
People were paying $30,000 more for a house.
For a house.
$30,000 more than it was being appraised for.
Correct.
Isn't that the same thing?
It's exactly
the same thing. It's people are buying things that they shouldn't be buying, but okay, well, that's not their fault.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When is enough enough? This whole thing is just. But anyway, all the quote unquote gains we're supposed to be making in this wonderful, where poor people need to go out and buy electric cars and solar panels.
We are not making any gains. I know all the poor people are just put solar panels on your car. I mean, just whatever, you know. This is the stupidest thing on earth, and all it did was it gave money to 87,000 new IRS agents. Yeah. It gave green initiative crap. It's some sort of infrastructure. I don't know. I still got potholes everywhere. I mean, I don't know what's going on. It's a bunch of bull crap.
Did you see the latest meme on one of the memes on Facebook where it showed this person walking through a meadow and there was cows and trees and it was a pasture and stuff, and said, "My God, look at this mess." And then the one below it, that same person's walking in the same pasture. There's windmills all around. There's solar panels all lined up on the walls and everything else, and dead birds on the ground. This is much better.
This is much better. This is much better. That's right. That's right. I mean, it's crazy. It's just, that's funny. Much better.
This whole thing it's getting out of control. I mean, we have got control. You know, I'm sorry. If you're, you know what? No, I'm not sorry. Your feelings were hurt under President Trump. Yep. Okay, your feelings were hurt. Some people took what they said and said, "Okay, this man's racist," which he wasn't. We know he's not. A number of black people like him, number of Hispanics liked him, even after his comment about Hispanics. And it's not all of them, by the way. It was only some of these people coming across the border, and he was right. But what happens is, have you ever noticed that when it's a Republican president, the economy is good, but your feelings are hurt more?
Yeah, yeah.
When you're a Democrat president, you feel better about yourself. You have no more money.
Feels are great.
You have no money.
Or a lot less.
And the rich still get rich. We've already seen that. Under Obama, I think the upper 1% grew more money than anyone else. I thought he was supposed to be against that. You know,
he's for the people.
Yeah. So, you know, pay attention. Just pay attention, people. That's all we're asking, because I know most people listening to us, they follow this, they understand this, they know, you know, they feel the same way we do. But reach out to your other not so educated people, and if they want to take a class from Professor Dale and Jim, we will we will start doing those, and we are going to be, you know, not nice. I mean, we're going to be in your face. We're going to, you know, this is what's going to happen, but we will educate you. We will. We'll educate you.
It's going to be like political scared straight. Yeah. You know?
Oh my God, that's a good one.
That's a good one. Damn right.
2 guys, 1 coup, politically scared straight.
Scared straight.
Oh, can't do that.
Why?
Because they're going to think we're making gay people become straight. So we got to change that name. So
shoot. Scared. Just
remember, words matter, Dale.
Yeah, it's just yeah. CPS come after you as an adult now.
Boy, they made that highway pretty straight. Oh, you homophobic.
Yeah. Oh no. Call the.
That's not what I meant.
The word police.
Boy, that road just goes on and on and on.
And on and on and on and on, and you never turn. Right. That's what I meant. That no turny road.
I mean, you remember,
Jim?
You remember that show? We read all those words you can't say. I mean, you and I. It's like,
I know.
How can we have a conversation with anyone?
How do you talk anymore? It's bad. Jim, I listen. Hopefully next week I'm a little bit more in tune to what's happening in the world and not so fogging out of things. But
no, I thought those clips you put in, I thought people needed to hear them because there's
they do
for
need
those
to hear
people
them.
who thinks this isn't happening. Come on, man.
That's 3 of 30 I currently have. And I mean, I have there's more.
It's happening. You just have to pay
3 of 30
attention.
I've downloaded.
You just have to pay attention. It's happening.
Have to pay attention to it.
And
in
this transgender movement, guys, our population, less than 0.5% is considered transgender in this country.
Well, they're trying to change that.
I haven't seen the latest percentage on young people.
Yeah.
But it's a lot higher than 0.5%. I can tell you that. I don't think
they're gonna generally just throw those numbers out to us, Jim. I think that's gonna be
this is just a dangerous
again, it'll be numbers we may never know.
And the thing that scares me,
doing it. The
surgeries and the puberty blockers.
Me too. It's terrible. It's terrible, and it should scare every person out there that's what they're doing to kids. It's experimenting on them. Mm-hmm. They're experimenting on children. The sickest of all sick people, and doing it a lot of times without you, the parent, knowing. Yep. So,
and it's none of your
that's
business.
What's happening, and it's none of your business. And don't interfere. We know what we're doing. Nothing to see here. Shut up, obey, and we'll take care of it from here. That's exactly what they're saying. So, Jim, great show. Thank you for your contribution again. Thank you, everyone, for listening and sharing. Again, don't forget about going out to title the website, Bernadette's website, to kind of give your displeasure and with what's happening with Title IX. Again, it's childparentrights.org/title-ix/. From there, just kind of work your way around and you'll find how to do this. But we only have until September 12th, so make sure you get that done. Next week, I can tell you we're going to have Paige Miller's going to be back. Mm-hmm. She's got more stuff.
Never ending.
More stuff to tell us and what's going on there in Indiana.
We didn't even talk about the teacher that had defund the police. I don't know if you heard about this. We did not. In the school that actually had the brother of the fallen officer in it.
Oh, shoot. We did not talk about it.
But we can talk about it on the next show.
Yeah, it's still there. So
and
Tuesday,
if you look it up, folks, it's Fishers, Indiana. It's a teacher had, now she says that it was a project from last year. She just hadn't taken it down, but she knew this kid was in her class.
Yeah.
So,
defund the
come
police.
On, people.
Come on.
And his brother was the officer that was killed. And
correct.
Just horrible. Just and the excuses that are going out there. And it's
exactly.
Should the teacher be fired? No, but there should be some reprimands going on because
there should be.
Not.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, any teacher that's got defund the police in their classroom. Yeah, I think should be fired.
Well,
that's my opinion.
Because
should she be fired? Why not? Mm-hmm. I mean, like you said, we don't want people losing their jobs. We don't want, but at some point, these people can't be allowed around children.
Yeah. I mean, this was a high school,
so it was. Yeah, I get that. But
this
still,
young man lost his brother.
Yeah,
more than likely, a brother he looked up
to see that.
and still
I'm certain
he came to school later.
Yeah,
because he was still with his family going through this tragedy. So
that's right.
They had plenty of time to take that down.
Plenty of time to know that.
But yeah, before we talk about it up, folks. It's
look it up.
It's horrible.
Horrible story. Jim, again, thank you. Thank you, everyone who's listening. Please remember to share, follow, do what you can. See us on our Facebook page, guys. The podcast is growing, and we really, really, really thank every listener out there and everybody who's sharing it. And it's we really, really do appreciate it.
And let us know what you think about the logo. because we really like it. And thank you again to Julie Bridges for doing it.
Correct.
She had to make a couple modifications, but like a pro, I like them. Thank you very much again. Shout out to her. She's very talented. We have
merch.
We have one of her
merch coming soon, right?
Huh?
Jim?
Merchandise. Yeah, we're not going to be able to do what we wanted to do because we don't have the don't have the funds yet. But we will have some items for
Jim. Maybe we should get a Venmo and people can donate. Just like to the child who wants to transition.
Or, I guess have people buy it before we purchase it. I don't know, but it's now.
Well,
we'll figure.
We offer it, and then we'll figure something out. But yeah.
But it is a cool logo. Sure. I mean, it's almost what we wanted. It really was. And it's just cool.
And folks out there, seriously, if you want to help Jim transition to a man, we will have a link up to where you can donate to help him with those surgeries
something that recently happened. I hope you feel bad about that comment. I really do, because that was very hurtful.
It's crazy how much I don't feel bad
about
it.
So much for the safe space. Jeez.
It's amazing how good I actually feel right now. I feel almost better. Jim, I love you, brother. Be good. Yep. Thank you again, everybody. And we'll see you. Have a great weekend. We'll see you all next Tuesday. Adios, muchachos.
Goodbye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Two Guys, One Coup podcast with Dale and Jim. Remember, you can watch on YouTube and Rumble and listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. And if you like what you hear, go ahead and give us a 5-star review. We really appreciate it, and it helps others find us when searching for podcasts. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and TikTok. Just search for Two Guys, One Coup. That's the number 2 guys and the number 1 coup, COUP. Thanks again for listening to the Two Guys, One Coup podcast, and God bless the United States of America.